Thank you guys for being here. This class, hopefully you'll see, is different than any other typical class we do at the Academy.
As the Nazis came to power in 1933 and then leading up to when the violence began in 1938, there were things that law enforcement took part in that were disastrous.
You know, the Holocaust didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process of a whole bunch of little steps. And if intervention would have happened at certain steps, we may not have gotten to this step.
In your daily lives, you run across things that are inexplicable. We want to spark questions in your mind, and we want to compare the role of local law enforcement during the time of the Holocaust with your role in society today.
As you go through, you're going to see images, but just kind of in the back of your mind, be thinking about, okay, where am I seeing images of law enforcement, and what are they doing when I see that image?
No matter what you know about the Holocaust coming in, being on a tour and seeing photographs and hearing stories about what happened is riveting and I think often life-changing.
You can get lost in the numbers and the dates, and because they're all mind-boggling. But it's the personal stories, the survivor stories, that I think kind of put a face to it. I think that's what somebody will remember. I mentioned to you earlier Mr. Walter Case. Amazing man, survivor. He went through this camp experience with his father. They know that, okay, if I look strong today, if I look like I can work, maybe I'll live today. And he said what was so frustrating about it was you could do everything you were asked to do exactly as you were asked to do it, follow every rule, and still be killed.
The more we learn about the failures of policing, the better position we'll be to ensure we don't fail society. This kind of class really shows what ignorance can lead to.
The crematorium at Auschwitz ran 24/7. Some of the neighbors would complain that they couldn't hang out their laundry because their laundry would smell. What does that say? That's what they were upset about.
There are consequences for society's ills and failures, and so it's important for us as police officers to get to deal with all these failures, because ultimately those failures impact the frontline police officers like no one else in society.
We want you to think about why you do what you do, why it's important that you do it the way that you do, and how important it is not just for society in general, but for you and your families and the freedoms that you're allowed.
We, as law enforcement officers and as humans, have to learn how to treat one another with respect and love and compassion. Without those things, and that's very dangerous, and living in a time that we're living in, we can't allow history to repeat itself.
There's a way to do your job with respecting the dignity of every single human being in whatever state of their lives. And that's what I take of this.
The program is in its 20th year, and over 150,000 law enforcement people in the United States have gone through this program in 8 different cities, of which Houston is one. We see officers that come back 4 or 5 times to this class, and they write on their evaluations that they come back because it makes them think, and it changes how they do their job, and it changes how they feel about other human beings.
This class, more than ever, is critical. This relationship between law enforcement and the ADL and the Holocaust Museum is more important than ever.
2017 across the country, anti-Semitic hate crimes were up 37%. The rise in hate speaks to the urgency of this program to fight hatred and to fight hatred now.
We're the most diverse city in the country. It's important for us to be vigilant here. It's important for us to be culturally competent here. It's important for us to look at the failures in history, not just through the prism of the past, but through the prism of the victims, and to make sure that we do everything we can to not allow a repeat tomorrow or anytime in the future.